In 2007, a team of researchers using sonar equipment to survey the bottom of Lake Michigan stumbled upon something unexpected: a series of massive stones, deliberately arranged in a circular pattern, hidden 40 feet beneath the surface. At first glance, it looked like a natural rock formation, but as they investigated further, they noticed something shocking: carvings etched onto some of the stones. One carving appeared to depict a mastodon, an animal that roamed North America over 10,000 years ago and has long been extinct. If the carvings are real, it means this underwater Stonehenge might be thousands of years older than England's famous monument. Who placed those stones at the bottom of the lake? And how did they even get there? Let's find out. Beneath the cold, dark waters of Lake Michigan lies a mystery that has puzzled scientists, divers, and historians alike. Imagine a place so hidden that it remained untouched for thousands of years, waiting quietly beneath the waves. Lake Michigan, one of the Great Lakes, is a massive body of water that stretches over 300 miles long and 120 miles wide. It's the only Great Lake entirely within the United States, with its shores touching big cities like Chicago and Milwaukee. The Great Lakes themselves were formed thousands of years ago during the last ice age. Giant glaciers covered much of the Earth's surface. As these massive sheets of ice moved, they carved out deep valleys and left behind enormous basins. When the ice melted, the basins filled with water, creating the 5 lakes we know today: Superior, Huron, Erie, Ontario, and of course, Michigan. These lakes are so big that they hold about 1/5 of all the fresh water on Earth. But with such size and depth, the Great Lakes are also home to countless stories, some of them tragic, others mysterious. Over the years, Lake Michigan has been the site of many shipwrecks, lost sailors, and even rumors of strange creatures lurking beneath the waves. Ships have traveled its waters for centuries, carrying goods and people through dangerous storms and thick fog. Some of these ships never made it to their destinations. The remains of wrecked boats, hidden under the lake's surface, make Lake Michigan a popular spot for divers and underwater explorers. It was during one of these explorations that something extraordinary was found. In 2007, a team led by Dr. Mark Holley, an underwater archaeologist and professor, set out to survey the bottom of Grand Traverse Bay. If you're not familiar, Grand Traverse Bay sits on the northwest coast of Michigan's Lower Peninsula. It's a huge, stunning bay that stretches over 30 miles long and 10 miles wide, with its water hiding more than anyone could imagine. Dr. Holley's goal was to use sonar technology to map the lake bed. Sonar works by sending sound waves down into the water and then measuring how long it takes for the waves to bounce back. This allows scientists to create detailed images of what's lying beneath the surface. Usually, they use this technology to locate shipwrecks, which are fairly easy to spot on sonar scans. Wrecked ships often stand out because of their sharp, man-made shapes against the natural uneven lake bed. But during this particular survey, Dr. Holley's team found something they didn't expect. At first, the sonar images showed a cluster of rocks. That might not seem unusual, after all, rocks are everywhere, but these rocks looked different. They weren't scattered randomly like you would expect. Instead, they seemed arranged in a line, almost like somebody had placed them there on purpose. The more the team studied the image, the stranger it seemed. The rocks formed what looked like a circle, similar to the famous Stonehenge in England. This wasn't something you would expect to see at the bottom of a lake. The rocks appeared to stretch for almost a mile in a straight line, with some larger stones standing out as if they were marking a path. It was clear that this wasn't just a natural formation. Something or someone had put those stones there. What made the discovery even more mysterious was what they found on the rocks. Some of the stones had carvings, ancient etchings, that had somehow survived all those years underwater. One carving in particular caught everyone's attention. It appeared to show a mastodon, an ancient elephant-like creature that roamed North America thousands of years ago. Mastodons went extinct around 10,000 years ago, which means the carvings could be incredibly old. Think about that for a second. If the carvings really date back that far, it means the stones themselves must have been placed there before Lake Michigan even existed. That would take us back to a time when the glaciers were still melting, and the Great Lakes were just starting to form. The land where the lake is now would have been dry, and early humans could have gathered there to hunt mastodons and build structures like this mysterious stone circle. But who built it, and why? That's where things get even more fascinating. Stone circles like this one are incredibly rare in North America. The most famous stone circle in the world is Stonehenge, located in Wiltshire, England. Stonehenge is estimated to be about 5,000 years old, and it has puzzled scientists for centuries. How did people back then move such massive stones? Why did they go through such an effort to arrange them in a circle? Many believe Stonehenge was used for ceremonial or astronomical purposes. It could have been a place to mark the changing seasons or even a sacred site for rituals. Now imagine something similar beneath the waters of Lake Michigan. If this stone circle is as old as the carvings suggest, it could predate Stonehenge by thousands of years. That's right, it might even be older than one of the most famous monuments on Earth. Dr. Holly and his team were careful with their discovery. They knew how important it was to protect the site. They didn't share the exact location with the public, fearing that curious visitors might disturb or damage the stones. Instead, they shared their findings with the local indigenous groups, who may have a connection to the site's history. The discovery raises so many questions. Why was this stone circle built? Was it used for hunting, like similar rock formations found in nearby Lake Huron? In Lake Huron, another underwater site shows stones arranged in a way that helped early humans trap and hunt large animals. Could the Lake Michigan stones have served a similar purpose, or was this something else entirely? Perhaps a ceremonial site like Stonehenge? It's hard to say for sure. The lake's cold, deep waters have kept the stones hidden and preserved for thousands of years, but they've also made them difficult to study. Divers can only spend so much time underwater, and the murky depths make it challenging to get a clear view of the entire site. Even with today's technology, the mystery remains. Some skeptics believe the stones might just be a natural formation, shaped by glaciers and water over time. But the carvings, especially the mastodon, make that explanation harder to accept. If someone carved those images, it means people were there, working on those stones, long before history books say they should have been. Now, things get even stranger when you realize Lake Michigan isn't the only place holding secrets beneath its waters. Just a short distance away, Beaver Island adds another layer to this mystery. Beaver Island is the largest island in Lake Michigan, sitting like a quiet, forgotten piece of land in the middle of the lake. On its rocky surface, explorers have found something eerily similar, another circle of stones. Unlike the ones hidden under the lake, these stones are above the water, sitting in clear patterns that make it obvious someone placed them there. Some of these stones even have holes bored through them. Imagine the effort it would take to drill through solid rock, especially without modern tools. Who did this, and why? Researchers have guessed that these stones might have served some ritual purpose or maybe even a practical one. But there's another clue. The ground beneath the stones seems to have been burned by fire before they were placed. That means whoever put the stones there likely cleared the land on purpose. Here's the catch. Beaver Island's stone circle seems to be much younger than the mysterious Stonehenge under Lake Michigan. Some experts think it's only a few hundred years old, not thousands. But even if that's true, it still connects to an interesting idea. Could the same people, separated by generations, have built stone formations both on land and in water? Or are we looking at entirely different cultures, all drawn to the same strange urge to build with rock? To answer that question, we have to go back in time. If the stones in Lake Michigan really do date back 10,000 years or more, then everything about the landscape was different. This was during the period between the two ice ages. Back then, Lake Michigan didn't exist. The lakebed we see today was actually dry land, and it was solid and stable enough for people to live on. They would have hunted large animals like mastodons, gathered food, and apparently built massive stone structures. Now think about how incredible that is. People from thousands of years ago with no modern technology not only built stone formations, but also carved detailed images of the animals they hunted. These carvings are like a message from the past, telling us what life was like for them. It shows us that they had knowledge, skill, and creativity, much more than we usually give ancient people credit for. But here's another thought that makes this even more puzzling. If the Great Lakes were once dry land, what happened? As the glaciers melted, water poured into these low-lying areas and filled the massive basins. Slowly but surely, the Great Lakes were formed, and anything left on the ground, like stone circles, was swallowed by water. That means the mysterious stone formation at the bottom of Lake Michigan could be one of the oldest human structures ever discovered. It predates cities, writing, and even the pyramids of Egypt. But the story doesn't stop there. Just when you think Lake Michigan has revealed all its secrets, researchers have made another incredible discovery. In 2022, a team from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the NOAA, set out to explore part of the lakebed. They were surveying the Wisconsin Shipwreck Coast National Marine Sanctuary, an area known for its preserved shipwrecks. Instead of shipwrecks, though, they found something unexpected. Massive circular craters dotting the lakebed. These craters are huge, some stretching between 300 and 600 feet across, and they sit about 450 feet below the water's surface. If that wasn't strange enough, the craters are arranged in a line, almost like someone or something put them there on purpose. So, what are they? Scientists are still scratching their heads. One theory is that the craters were caused by sinkholes. Over time, water flowing beneath the lake's limestone bedrock might have carved out underground caverns. Eventually, the ceilings of those caverns collapsed, creating massive depressions on the lake floor. Another idea is that the craters were shaped by glaciers during the Ice Age. As the massive sheets of ice moved across the land, they may have scraped and shaped the ground below. And yet, there's another theory. Some experts think that the craters might have formed from hydrocarbon off-gassing, which is when gas trapped underground bubbles up and causes the sediment to collapse. No matter how they formed, the craters are an exciting find. The water inside them is cold, dark, and nearly devoid of oxygen, creating a strange alien-like environment. Temperatures hover around 38 degrees Fahrenheit, and not much can survive in those conditions. A few hardy creatures like deep-water fish and invasive mussels have made their homes there, but scientists think there's something even smaller: bacteria. Similar sinkholes in Lake Huron have already been found to house special types of bacteria. These tiny organisms thrive in environments with no oxygen, much like the conditions on Earth billions of years ago. By studying the craters in Lake Michigan, scientists hope to learn more about early life on our planet. Think about that for a moment. The bottom of Lake Michigan could hold clues to both ancient human history and the origins of life itself. It's like a window into two completely different mysteries, one about the past and one about the very beginning of our planet. As exciting as these discoveries are, they also remind us about how little we know about the Great Lakes. Scientists have only explored about 15% of the lakebed so far. That means there's still so much waiting to be discovered. Who knows what else lies beneath the surface? Thanks for sticking with us through this incredible story. If you enjoyed learning about the mysteries of Lake Michigan, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. And please let us know in the comments, what do you think the stones were for? And until next time, keep exploring!